You need to build an Xbox before it's too late. What's up, y'all? I'm Ray, and this is my channel, Xbox Ready, where we get on and we talk about Xbox stuff. The latest news, rumors, games, accessories, pretty much anything I want to talk about, as long as it's about Xbox in some way. 2025 was a rough year for games. There was a lot of cancellations, flops, layoffs. But through it all, some really fun, creative games found their audience and made their mark, proving that even in the face of hardship, the right teams and circumstances can still bring us good, solid, fun games. But it's also a new year. It's not 2025 anymore. It is officially 2026. At the time I'm filming this video, it is the 6th, 7th, couple days into 2026. Oh no. It's a collective fresh start for all of us, and it gives us hope that if we just work hard enough, that we can leave all of the things that held us back in 2025 and become who we were really meant to be in 2026. There's a lot to look forward to in video games, especially in 2026. A lot of big Xbox projects. Grand Theft Auto 6, I still believe is coming out sometime this year. Might get delayed again, I don't know. But the same worries that we were hoping to leave behind back in 2025 seem to be rearing their ugly head just days into the new year. You see, 2025 will always be known as the year where gamers, we just dealt with way too many firsts. Namely, the first time we've seen consoles at this point in their life cycle increase in price rather than decrease. In 2020, a Series X was $500, a Series S was $300. Over on the PlayStation side, a PlayStation 5 with a disc drive was $500, and the digital version was $400. Fast forward to 2026, Series X consoles going for a whopping $650. Series S, this champion of cheap, affordable, next-gen gaming, is now $400, the price of a PS5 digital back in 2020. Do y'all remember when Diablo 4 came out and Xbox was like, hey, we're bundling in Diablo 4 with the Series X. Look at how much it cost at the time this Reddit post was made. This thing went from less than $400 all the way up to $670, almost $700 for a base Series X and Diablo 4. While price increases are affecting everyone, all of the console makers, it seems to have hit Xbox particularly hard for some reason. Like, at least for now, PlayStation was able to keep the PS5 disc under $600. I don't know how long that's gonna last, but at least they were able to hold off on it for a little bit. But this is an Xbox channel, so let's focus on Xbox. All of the reports and rumors and all of this craziness with AI gobbling up DRAM and SSDs and all of the necessary components to make a console in the first place, all of that makes it very likely that Xbox will have to raise the price of the Series X and S for a third time. And the irony is that Microslop is directly contributing to that shortage. And pretty much everything that Xbox tries to do in order to pivot away from these bad decisions that Microsoft is making, it just gets harder and harder for them. For example, if the Xbox Series X and S, they're not selling super hot, oh, we're trying to make this pivot into PC gaming, into handheld gaming, meeting the gamers where they're at versus making them come to us, why don't we team up with another manufacturer and they can make their own version of the Xbox? Enter the Xbox Ally handhelds. The first handheld portable Xbox, sort of. I've had mine since October. I've been using it mostly to play Hades 2 recently, and it's awesome. I've cleared the surface for the first time, I've cleared the underworld for the first time, and it's amazing, especially when it has a power source on. The thing runs flawlessly. I love the full screen experience, especially compared to what we had previous to this on Windows handheld gaming PCs. But unfortunately, the prevailing discourse about this thing has not been any of that. No, it's been about the price. The first $1,000 Xbox console. And even compared to competitors in the handheld gaming space like the Steam Deck, it goes for a pretty steep price. And if we're going by the logic like this thing is an Xbox, $1,000 easily makes it the most expensive Xbox ever. And it effectively raises the bar for any other pricey PC Xbox hardware that Xbox or any of these other manufacturers decide to pump out later on the line, like Project Magnus. You can make the argument that fans are low-key being like kind of conditioned to see a $1,000 price tag next to an Xbox product. That way, when Project Magnus comes out and it's everything that we assume it's going to be, maybe even in that $1,200 price range, we won't be as shocked. But what if I told you it's about to get even more expensive to get your hands on what was once hyped up as the future of Xbox? Some people got a hold of an email that Asus sent out to its partners, saying that they were bracing for strategic price adjustments. They said these changes reflect shifts in capacity allocation by upstream suppliers, higher investment costs for advanced manufacturing processes, and structural supply gaps created by rising AI compute demand. Now, they said that these changes were supposed to take place Monday, January 5th. Monday, January 5th has come and gone, and I haven't seen any word about specific products that are getting a price increase. I'm seeing some things saying they're gonna increase the price of like some of their notebooks or like other gaming laptops, but nothing concrete. I feel like that would be all over the news cycle at this point. But as of right now, the Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X have not had any sort of price increase. However, everything that they mentioned in this letter as getting more expensive for them from their upstream suppliers, DRAM, SSDs, etc. All of those are obviously crucial components to making something like the Xbox Ally X. And if the prices for those parts are going up, you have to imagine that, well, okay, the overall price of the product is gonna have to go up in order to compensate. Over here in the US, we also have to worry about tariffs as well. There's a lot of speculation on whether or not that was factored into the original price of the Xbox Ally handhelds. So in the event that we do get a price increases to these newest Xboxes, what's it gonna be? Most people are thinking that it'll be like a 10 to 20% increase. Maybe they'll split it down the middle, go for 15. So that means that the Xbox Ally X could potentially go from being $1,000 to $1,200. I don't think it'll go that high. Personally, I think it'll stop at $1,100 or cap out right around there. The most dramatic price increase that we've seen to video game consoles came from the PS5 digital from $400 to $500 and the Series X going from $500 to $600 in May of 2025. So if we're going and what's already been established to the market already, I'm thinking like a straight $100 increase is a pretty safe bet. Also, for thinking about the Xbox Ally handheld, if you're willing to spend $1,000 on a bit of gaming hardware, $100 extra, probably not a make or break deal for you. Of course, nobody likes when things go up in price. Luckily, you don't have to spend upwards of $1,000 or $1,200 in order to get the best thing that came out for the Xbox Ally handhelds. What you can argue is the true future of Xbox, the Xbox full screen experience. Now, we'll admit, there are times when this thing pissed me off, especially early on. It takes a long time to update things out the box to make sure the full screen experience is working. And sometimes I'll try to use my controller to input my PIN or just navigate the menu and it won't work. It feels like it takes a little bit of time to heat up. There's also clearly a lot of work that they need to do in order to integrate other storefronts like Steam. But overall, this represents a significant upgrade from what I was dealing with when I got my base ROG Ally. It feels smoother, snappier, more responsive, especially when you bring up that task switcher. A lot of people were like, oh, they're just adding an Xbox button on it, but that is so clutch when you're trying to, especially if you're using the game bar a lot to record and capture and manage your socials. They've begun the work of moving it off of Xbox Allies to other platforms, to other handhelds like the base Ally, which is significantly cheaper, the Lenovo Legion Go. When I upgraded my base Ally and put the full screen experience on there, it was night and day. It was an immediate significant upgrade, not only in terms of navigation, but also in terms of how the game performed. And the best part about it is that, yes, while this thing was developed with the intent for use on handhelds, they're also rolling it out to PC builds so you can use it on your desktop. Which brings me to the point of this entire video. If you are looking ahead to the future of Xbox, all of this work that they're doing on the PC side of things, all of this work that they're doing with the full screen experience, expanding cloud gaming, making sure games have mouse and keyboard support, then you as an Xbox fan, you need to start thinking, okay, is it time for me to build my own PC, build my own Xbox? Even if you've never had a PC before, if you get one, even a pre-built, or you build your own and you put the full screen experience on it, that'll give you something familiar as a console user, something that you can navigate with your controller. And it'll also give you way more flexibility and options for shopping around for yourself. If you don't want to buy a game through the Microsoft Store, you can go on over to Steam or Epic Games or GOG, all of which are reported to be on the next-gen Xbox Project Magnus anyway. Here's the problem though, we're talking about the Xbox Ally, the things needed to manufacture those parts are getting more expensive. the stuff that we need to build a PC, everything is getting more expensive. So if you're gonna do it in the next couple of months, because by the end of 2026, those prices are just gonna go through the roof. GPUs, SSDs, memory, literally everything. But if you could pull it off, you're preparing yourself for the future. You will have access to all of these new Xbox games that are coming out. You'll have access to Xbox Cloud Gaming. You'll have the latest interface with the full screen experience. If they're winding down the sales of the Series X and S and pivoting to PC, we're not going to see this dashboard anymore. So get yourself familiar with the full screen experience ASAP. And if they delay the PlayStation 6 and the next gen Xbox, you'll be good because you'll have a PC that will probably be just as powerful anyway. And here to talk more about it is my buddy Jimmy.
How's it going, Xbox Ready viewers? It's me, Jimmy Champagne from Deck Ready. Ray asked me to come over on Xbox Ready and give you some tips on building a gaming PC. My first big tip is simple. Buy the best stuff you can afford now and don't plan on buying anything better later. So if you're looking at a 2TB SSD because you feel like that's what you need, figure out how to get enough money now to get that SSD, because prices aren't going to go lower or even stay the same. They're just going to continue to go up throughout 2026. So if you have your eyes set on something, make sure you figure out how to get it now. My next tip is that the only CPU you should buy right now is the AMD 9800 X3D. I think it's like $400 or maybe a little bit cheaper than that. I got it in August and I paid $380. It's just simply the best CPU you can get for a gaming PC. It's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. It defeats stuttering in Unreal Engine 5 games on my SteamOS PC. I absolutely love it. Depending on your GPU choice, it could give you more headroom than you need, but so many games coming out these days are CPU bound. So if you're going to overspend on something, I would recommend it being the CPU, and get that CPU. It's just the best. As far as the GPU goes, it really depends on your budget. So I'm just going to recommend what I have paired with that 9800 X3D, which is the AMD 9070 XT. Now, when they announced it, its MSRP was supposed to be $650. Once it actually came out, if you can get it for around $700 or $725, you are getting a deal. It's rated for 1440p, and with games maxed out, it doesn't break a sweat at that resolution, but I've played games at 4K with quality upscaling and it's been a lock 60 across the board. When it comes to the RAM, you can get away with 16 gigabytes, but if you can afford 32 gigabytes, I would go with that. RAM is the thing where it's like, just get what you can afford because it's so exorbitantly expensive right now, and it's going to keep getting more expensive. And as far as the SSD goes, 2TB should be fine. I think you can get away with 1TB, but just get 2 so you have a little extra headroom. Those are the most critical parts of any PC. Once you have those all picked out, just go to PC Parts Picker, add them all in, and then it'll recommend a case, it'll recommend a power supply, it'll recommend basically everything else you need, including the motherboard that'll work with those CPU and GPU combinations, and then you just order the stuff and build it. As far as controllers go, if you want to stick with your Xbox Series X controller, get the official Microsoft adapter. It's like $25 and it gives you that direct connection to the PC versus using Bluetooth, which can be a little bit finicky. And then once you have it all built, just have some fun downloading games from Game Pass through the Xbox app. Spend some time uninstalling the bloatware that comes along with every Windows install. But really, once you have it all built, it's pretty plug and play. Or, you know, if you don't want to deal with any of that, just buy an ROG Xbox Ally X. They're back in stock and I've been really enjoying playing that thing. I think it's a really good handheld.
Now, if you find an Xbox Series X or S for a reasonable price, I'm talking like those original prices or even cheaper if you can find them secondhand, go for it. These are still great consoles. They're guaranteed to have all of the latest games coming out in 2026, like Fable, like Gears E-Day, all of the stuff coming out for the 25th anniversary. And even on the console side, there are certain things that you won't be able to experience on PC if you make the switch. Specifically using Quick Resume. Quick Resume has me so spoiled on the console side. When I go and I play on my Ally or on my Razer laptop, having to make sure that I close games down and I can't just like switch between any game that I want without having to quit to desktop. It's annoying. Quick Resume is so smooth and intuitive. It's got me totally spoiled. I'm not ready to leave it behind. I've heard rumors that they're working on some sort of equivalent for PC and the full screen experience. I don't know where they're at with that though. So if you can find an Xbox for cheap, I'd say absolutely go for it because I'm still using my daily. It's awesome. But if you're thinking about spending $650 on just a regular Series Series X. If you want to do that, that's cool. It's your money. I'm not going to judge you either way. But if you're willing to drop that kind of cash already, you might as well consider building your own PC with the components that Jimmy recommends, or buying something like the Xbox Ally or the Xbox Ally X. A PC is something that can give you access to pretty much everything Xbox produces. It's something that can grow with you, and even something like the Xbox Ally X, while expensive, they're constantly adding new features to, like in 2026 when they're going to add automatic super resolution and advanced shader compiling. There's not really a wrong move here, whether you build a PC, whether you buy an Xbox used or at full price, if you buy an Xbox Ally X, as long as you use them for their intended purpose to play a ton of these awesome games that are coming out, it'll be worth it for you. Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox stuff I got to talk about today. Thanks so much for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready. If you made it this far into the video, consider subscribing. See you in the next one.